Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of We Bought a Mic, a podcast about Roofman. Come together with your
McDonald's.
You just
creature
ran out of runway so quick.
bees.
You started so confident.
Peanut M&Ms.
Welcome. We are getting spoilery today with a triple threat review of Roofman, Frankenstein, and Begonia. If you haven't seen these films, or if you've seen one or two of them, check the timestamps below because we've talked about each of these in previous episodes briefly, but now this is the episode where we're going to unpack all of them, full spoilers.
Yeah. So when you guys talked about Roofman,
Also, I'm Hunter.
Welcome, Ernest. Drew is here. Hey everyone, Editor Ernest here with a quick note. We did not get to Begonia in this episode. We ran long talking about Frankenstein, so stick around for a separate podcast discussion about Begonia, full spoilers, in a separate episode later on. Enjoy the show.
when you guys talked about Roofman previously, I got really stoked because,
Did we overhype it a little bit?
I mean, maybe a little.
Okay.
Not really. I think it was exactly what you guys said it was. Like, it's a really good movie. It's something that I wanted it to be, which is, when you talked about it, I asked, like, is it in that like small story indie slot of like what, a Little Miss Sunshine used to be, for example? And it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Little Miss Sunshine is a hard, it's a hard comparison because that's just a really great movie. And this isn't like gonna have like the staying power of a Little Miss Sunshine, but I really enjoyed Roofman. I thought it was a good time.
Did we? Oh no, yeah, we saw it together. I think that's right. That like this is something where it's not gonna be like the best movie of the year or something like that. Like, but it almost has lower ambitions than that.
I wouldn't be mad if somebody put it up in their list. I
wouldn't be mad if it's in the top 10. Like, yeah. I do think that this is actually worthy of like that top 10 discussion, mostly because I think Channing Tatum is awesome in this movie.
And Kiki.
I think that Kiki's great. I think that like the construction of it is kind of the best possible version for a movie like this. The more I think about it, this kind of reminds me, I would put this in the same tier, and it actually is on my list. The same tier is something like Black Bag, where it's like a movie that is just like an adult film that is just like telling a little bit of a smaller story. It is a director that is just like setting out to make a certain vision and pretty much hitting that vision out of the park. Exactly. Now, was that vision, did that have the ambitions to be like one of the great movies of our time? No, but also like not every movie needs to do that. And this is just a movie that's just extremely well executed.
Yeah. And it's also the two main differences between this and Black Bag. Number one, Black Bag is less sweet than this. This has a very saccharine, like, you know what I mean? It has like a niceness to it, a coziness to it that Black Bag doesn't have. B, this is based on a true story which Black Bag isn't. I think I'd put Black Bag just like a skosh above. But they're very much in the same tier.
Black Bag's a tighter movie. This one kind of feels a little bit more expansive, but I think that what really captivated me the most about this movie, I have like two vivid memories of this. Oh, dogs are going crazy. Number one is the prison breakout. I think that whole setup of how he's going to get out and the procedural elements of him executing it successfully. So I was so engrossed. I was so locked into the movie during that whole sequence.
And it's very true to real life, true to how the real guy busted out. Yeah, I agree that like it's all very well laid out, very well established, well directed.
Yeah. San France, dude.
Where you been?
What's your second thing?
The ending. I think that the movie puts in a lot of work to build up this looming bombshell of like, this guy is lying to these people. He is being a straight up like borderline like sociopath liar or not borderline, just straight up like he's manipulating.
He's just living in denial.
This family and lying to them and pretending like he's someone who he's not. And the whole time there is just this dark cloud over the film that is going to not go well for everybody.
And that is a type of movie I usually really rub up against, is movies where the whole time you're just thinking, okay, well, it's not going to work out, so let's just get to it, But like, no, this movie is, I think the reason it ends up working anyway is because in between I would almost call it a childhood wish fulfillment thing.
The Toys R Us stuff.
Yeah, like living.
Yeah.
It has that. It scratches that itch. It's almost like similar to like Employee of the Month, where it's just like, what's a fun creative way we could use the space of a big store?
Yeah.
And it does a lot of that.
It scratches that itch. What if Jessica Alba was my girlfriend?
It's Jessica Simpson. Yeah.
It's you're
An
thinking
Employee
of
of the Month?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're thinking of
Like Good Luck Chuck.
Good Luck Chuck. That's the Jessica.
Oh,
Alba Dane
wait.
thing. You're mixing up your Dane Cook
Oh my God.
star-led vehicles.
These are two completely different movies.
What a time we were living in the 2000s. Bush's America was really something.
So,
Wow.
Well, and so that's sort of another reason it struck me as a throwback movie, is like a mid 2000s thing. You just don't see a lot of that anymore. It feels like a lot of those, little spaces have been occupied, but like the idea of a criminal figuring out how to live in plain sight like that is just cool, and it's fun to watch, and it's fucking true. And so Channing is awesome.
I think this might be my favorite Channing. I mean, I haven't seen the Magic Mikes, but
guys, go back, rewatch Logan Lucky, and then fucking talk to me.
Okay.
You guys need to grow up a little bit.
he's really great in this movie.
Yeah.
He is.
He is asked to do a
Hey,
lot.
Foxcatcher? No way.
He
Like I
has
said,
to-
rewatch Logan Lucky.
Okay, I'm not talking about
He has to
Foxcatcher.
be this like criminal, like kind of shitty guy, and also this like very charming, lovable person that's like swaying everybody into his little web
Exactly.
of
But yeah,
lies.
he is a guy who is, he has to do a lot of work because you should absolutely hate him because of what he's doing.
Maybe you do a little
Well,
bit,
you
but
absolutely do.
yeah.
You are frustrated by him. You truly believe that he's not a bad person.
It's easy to give yourself over to
And
him.
so here's the thing though, because watching Channing, the whole movie, I'm like, yeah, Channing's he's doing a great job with this. And then he gets in a scene with Kirsten Dunst, and you're like, oh my, there's levels to acting.
Yeah.
Like she's in another stratosphere. And
Right.
he's great. Kirsten Dunst is just like
Right.
one of our
She's unbelievable.
one of our fine living American actors. Like,
I mean,
she's so special in this small. It's a role that requires so much nuance, so much.
Yeah.
It's one of the best Southern accents I've ever heard from a non-Southern person. It's all just so dialed.
Yeah. What is this? Is this in the Carolinas?
Yeah.
Yeah,
North
I
Carolina,
was
I
just
think.
every time they're in a scene together, I'm just blown the fuck away by Kirsten.
Yeah.
Dunst. Like she's such a
They do
good
have
actor,
unbelievable
man.
chemistry.
They
though.
do.
Yeah.
Her eyes
Yeah.
in that final song scene. Oh, Leah's bringing out
Oh my
some
god.
bubbly.
Is this some bubblies?
What happened? What's the occasion?
Ooh.
I'm not here. Just edit me out.
My god, this is crazy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lee was just this much of a fan of Roofman. She's like, we gotta fucking bust out.
We-
the
you know-
vocals.
Sponsor of the band.
You
Cheers.
guys should get
Cheers.
the
Cheers.
like the
Salute.
the glasses like this that are like opaque, like they have on like Love Is Blind for continuity purposes.
Oh, because of the level of the
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
drink, yeah.
Anyway,
the final scene when they're singing the Christmas Carol, and she is looking at him, and there's no dialogue between the two of them, but the entire movie is hanging over this scene, and it's actually a payoff to the Carol at the beginning of the movie when he first sees her.
Right.
It's a mirror of that, and the way her face reacts as she's singing to knowing, like you see it all in her performance, in her acting, that
it's crazy.
she figures out his entire
Well, it's
scheme.
just or even if she doesn't, it's just like she just knows something's up with him. You know what I mean? She knows that this is too good to be true. She knows that there's a ruse.
Yeah.
And
Some kind of dishonesty. Yeah.
yeah, because that's not after the robbery, is it? Or is it?
No, that's
It's
after the
liter-
robbery.
Oh, well, then
Yeah.
she knows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
then sorry.
Yeah.
She absolutely knows. Like she saw his eyes.
So I do think that one thing, and a lot of this goes as a credit to the actors and to the
No,
performances.
it's literally right before the robbery.
Yeah, it
Oh,
has
is
to
it?
be
It's
because
the scene before
yeah,
the
because
robbery.
when she's in that route, like she knows.
Yeah.
in that moment.
Mm,
But yeah,
okay.
even
You're
before
right,
that,
you're right.
she knows something's up with the guy, and he's feeling the pressure. Everything's starting to come down because he's going to have to make the choice soon to leave.
Yeah.
That is an incredible bit of acting and directing
Yeah.
with the both of them, because it's in the middle. this movie has a lot of similarities to Logan Lucky, where it's like it's using like the heartland of America, not quite as a punchline, but it is adding color to these scenes. It seems like this movie took great lengths to be pretty accurate. I don't know if they like the exteriors they shot were the exact church that he went to, but it looks exactly
the Ben Mendelsohn congregation.
Yes, it looks exactly like the real church. Like it they might as well have just shot there, and maybe the exteriors they just shot there, somehow, and then got
Did
interior.
you cheer as loud as I did
when you see Ben Mendelsohn pop up?
Yeah, in that wig, and
the sweater?
You immediately are like, oh, he's just gonna be like the church guy.
Yeah,
it fucking rocks.
In like 3 scenes, just doing that.
Yeah, and
that character.
It's so good. It does a great job of encapsulating these weird little churches that like truly have like altruistic people in them. But like the music that they do in that church is so
it's great.
It's all really well colored. It's all very early 2000s. It all it all just works.
I one thing, backing up a little step to talk about the Jeffrey character. I think that's, and a lot of this is a credit to the performances and to the characters, but I think that the biggest credit goes to the screenplay and to the way that character is written. It is such a nuanced character that is, I think, a very universal and very recognizable character, which is somebody who doesn't know how to express themselves to another person except for through gift bombing. Like that is something that everybody knows, at least somebody in their life that just like, I don't really know how else to relate to you, so I'm just going to give you things because like that's how
that credit card.
That's the only way that like you're going to like me. You only like me for what I can give you. And I think that making that choice with the character, that even as like Kiki in this movie, what's her name? Lee tells him in this movie, like, you don't have to keep giving us things. We just like you for who you are. He's just like, I guess I have to go like get you a car or something like that.
Well,
like,
the daughters are a big part of that. He wants, it's not just her. He wants to please her daughters.
I know, but even like the kids are just like, we just like hanging out with you. But he thinks that like once, and
one
all
of them
goes
hates
back
him at first.
Well,
until he gets the car.
And it all goes back to the very first time. The reason why he first did a crime is because, and I don't know how much of this is like actually true to life, but the whole thing of like, he was at his daughter's birthday party and he couldn't get her what she wanted.
Yeah.
And so he thought that like that was when the resentment built, and he kind of had this whole mental emotional breakdown of like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to provide for my daughter. She's never going to be satisfied with me as a parent.
Yeah.
I have to find a way to compensate in whatever way I can.
We fail our veterans yet again. They can't afford a gift for their daughters.
Facts. Again, speaking toward how cool the screenplay is, it kind of subverted what I thought it would do, because obviously there's plenty of story to get to. And so it just skips right by him, like robbing like 40 something McDonald's.
I know,
which is, again,
past him being the Roofman.
Yeah, like based on a true story. Yeah, this guy, it's a former soldier who's just super smart, and he figures out it's really easy to rob.
Well, apparently the real guy tried to say in like his trial that he didn't do that he was imitating a real guy. Which, like, if you guys ever get caught for a crime, just say you didn't do it and that you were imitating another guy.
Well, just only admit to, like, if you get caught for the one crime, then just don't admit to the other crimes that you're a suspect.
That other guy was so
you're only
smart.
on trial for one thing.
But that was not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was really like good looking too. He was a handsome
so
guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, there's going to be an element of like Frank Abagnale-ish, to these types of stories.
Yeah,
Catch me.
Yeah, where it's like, if you're basing it off the guy's account of things, and this guy is like really good at lying, and we just, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Maybe plenty of it's a lie. But that said, so we skip past that, and then we get to the meat, which is surprising when you're watching it, because you're like, he's Roofman. We're not going to watch the Roofman part?
Roofman's like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. Right. Smash cut to him making like sort of like a split second choice to go break into a fucking Toys R Us.
Which, by the way, the fact that it's this very specific like half circle enclosure that is the key to his hideout, like how common is that?
I don't know. It is a
That's
thing
crazy.
that I saw that, and then immediately, or like within a few days afterwards, I went to our local Walmart supercenter that's down the road
And they
from
just
us,
have that?
and right where the bike racks are,
Yeah.
it literally has like a little bend out thing. I was like, there's probably a guy. There's a guy living in there right now.
There's
I
a
don't even
fucking
know
guy
him.
in
I don't even
Yeah,
know
well,
there's a guy in there.
and it's also a great time capsule thing because this was like a perfect point in history where you can have the tension of cameras existing, but also it's really easy to get around them.
Yeah. Because they're
him-
fixed cameras. It's like all like on like a fucking floppy disk that you
Yeah,
can
so
him surveying everyone, that's a very movie.
him putting
thing.
up the baby monitors, I love it. No, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
That's-
No. I love
That
it too. I'm
didn't
just
happen.
saying, like,
no, of
yeah,
course,
that
of
did
course,
happen.
yeah. Where like that's how he rizzes he he like learns about her.
Yeah.
Like that.
But
But
it Dinklage.
super.
He's like,
fun to
I
watch.
love looks at notes. God.
It's great to watch though. Like it, yeah, exactly. It's just again, it's just like good old fashioned beats.
Yeah.
You know, like good old fashioned
Yeah.
story beats.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore.
Just put up your movie with some solid blocks and
Yeah.
just build it up.
And it really works.
Don't
and again,
complicate it.
well, and again, the main way I think it has to depart from real life is it has to make this guy, instead of just like an average like weird guy, which is the real guy, they have to make him Channing Tatum because we have to like him even though he's doing this crazy shit
Mhm.
where he's, you know what I mean, where he's manipulating.
And you
this woman.
kind of, at least in my experience, you kind of want him to fail a little bit because you're thinking the whole time, like, things are going a little bit too well for this guy.
Yeah, of course.
I'm excited for it to
Well,
all crumble.
Yeah, it's just the ideal of knowing. Like you just know, like it's gonna fall.
It's
apart.
heartbreaking from Kirsten's character's
Right.
perspective and her
No.
girls. Like, you're there with them and you're thinking,
Yeah.
when this falls, I'm going to be sad for them.
I also think to the point, kind of spoilers for the movie. He already lost one fucking kid that doesn't want anything to do with him anymore.
Yeah.
So like, it's like a thing of like, when are
I
you gonna
did-
lose?
I-
You already lost the first family. When are you gonna lose family number 2?
I went to the bathroom when he like tries to go talk to the daughter. Does he actually make contact or he just like looks at her?
He just gets her on the no, he doesn't. He just looks at her in real life. He gets her on the phone a couple times and it's like no good. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, she's
The daughter's
new.
just basically like, Bradley says I have to get off. And it's like,
Yeah.
who's Brad? It's like, oh, he's mom's new friend. And you're like, oh shit.
Thoughts on Lakeith?
Yeah, absolutely. Where you been, buddy?
So look,
Where you been
Where
at?
you at?
I didn't mention
It's been
this.
years, my
He's
guy.
also in Die My Love, and not the same role because it's a different character, but he's just doing a thing where he's like, I want to be the like 14th build guy in the movie and just like pop up in 2 scenes. And
Where's
then
he
that's
been,
it.
man? I love him.
I don't know. Every time I see him, I like him.
I love him. I love
Like more.
his character because it's not a good guy.
He's in a garbage like Mark Wahlberg Amazon movie that doesn't exist.
great. I like that he's playing a shithead in this. Like he's not playing like the guy who's like, you know, it's like his one good guy friend who will help him. It's like, no, this guy, like they're homies, but like Lakeith's character is like shady. Like
Yeah.
he sucks.
Well, again, we failed our veterans. If veterans have to resort to crime
Yeah.
to survive,
Or
like
going back because that's the only way you can like pay the bills. That's what Lakeith does. Lakeith
Yeah.
just like goes
Another
and, like,
tour.
serves another tour.
It yeah, like I enjoy seeing him in it.
Ted Lasso girl,
Yeah, Ted Lasso girl playing like basically a hooker.
Juno Temple.
We got to talk a little dink. Mitch is played by the actor Peter Dinklage, who is notably a good actor. He rocks. He's perfect for the role. He's really good. He's good at being like traditionally funny. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he knows how to dial it up. He knows how to dial it medium. I would say this is like medium dialed because at the end of it, you have to still feel like he's a person.
Well, this kind of feels like what Dinklage's roles were pre Game of Thrones. I feel like in a post Game of Thrones world, there's been a lot of like, he's an actor. We have to put him in things
Well, of
where he's
course.
going to be like going up for Oscars and things like that. It's like Dinklage is just like a funny, fun guy.
Yeah, he's
to have in
he's
things.
good in an ensemble, like
Yeah.
anywhere he's at. It's the main difference, to be honest, is if this movie were made in the early 2000s, there would be jokes
Yeah.
about him. Like that's the only difference. But he's given the exact same performance he would have given 20 years ago.
The jokes are
He looks
for
the exact same he did 20 years ago.
that
You know what I mean?
whatever the fucking other guy is that works there that's being framed for stealing all the shit that Channing's stealing.
Yeah, he's a horrible manager. That is a lot.
I mean, it's a Toys R
Dude,
Us.
there's
What are you?
no, I don't
the
care.
most expensive things they sell are the video games,
Well,
and
and
they're losing all of them.
Yeah, and
and
it's
they're
just
at
like,
a pawn shop like down the road. It would be so easy
I
to
don't know.
figure this out.
Also, here's the thing, and like I worked never specifically in retail, but I worked in jobs that had retail elements to them. You do inventory, like in some extent. You would notice if it's just like, yeah, $10,000 of merch went missing this last month. That's kind of odd.
I guess that's weird.
There's a certain like decimal of a percentage point that is like considered acceptable loss. Like I've worked in retail.
Yeah.
That amount of Xbox games is so much loss.
He shows up with just like 8 new releases.
Yeah.
Like every time he sees these.
That's a lot of LP training down, like fucking down the drain.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching him. I think he dials it to a perfect level. He gets the assignment. He gets what this movie is.
The scene where he discovers Jeffrey is fucking incredible.
Naked.
Yeah, that is like the way that his body reacts to seeing a naked man.
He's so good.
Incredible.
I know.
It's so good.
He's so funny.
Perfectly.
And then
dialed.
the end bit with the robbery, I think he plays that really well.
So that's a really, really important scene in the movie. How do you pronounce Derek's last name?
Scene France.
Scene
France. It's just C in France.
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 Okay. I shouldn't have asked.
C in France.
You guys both gave me really different answers.
Hold on. We're gonna consult Google real quick.
He makes it a point to slow it down in this scene and really show the impact, the negative impact that our guy is having on the lives of these people.
Right. Well, he tries to mirror the McDonald's.
Yeah.
C in France. I got it. We're there. According to Google's AI,
I see in London. I see in France. I see Hunter's underpants. He makes it a point to slow it down and really like be like, no. I know that we've been a little bit sort of heightened this whole time, and like, you know, all these characters are kind of like goofy caricatures. What if they were real people? Like, let's slow it down and let's show what doing a fucking gun robbery does to real people.
He hits that fucking guy.
Yeah, exactly. It really shifts the movie. It ups it a 0.5 star in my opinion, because I think maybe just a little bit too much this movie leans into the silliness, but just a tiny bit, because this scene is everything.
Yeah, like all the marketing is him with the glasses and
I was just so glad that they didn't let this guy off scot-free for all the shit he was doing.
Yeah.
Like this was a good scene of like, no. This guy is fucked up for what he's doing. Like he cannot get away with all this.
He is bringing real
You
people
shouldn't
into
like
his
him
bullshit.
as much as I've made you like him. You know what I mean? That's a really, really smart bit of writing and directing. And I enjoy it. And then past that point, obviously the whole movie takes a shift because Kiki sees him. She knows instantly. Like we have to reckon past that point.
I will say, should Kiki have done the Heat Val Kilmer thing of just like give him the nod so that he knows like not to come in?
But they don't even interact.
No, but I'm just saying
it's just over the phone.
She could have given a little nod.
She chose to, you know what I mean?
She wanted that his
it's beyond like that. It's like she was like, oh, I know who that was. You know what I mean? Like no one else knew who that was, but she decides to sell him out. And you're almost surprised because you're like, yeah, but he's so great. But no, she should absolutely. He did a gun robbery at her job. And everything she knows about him is a lie. She just figured out. Like,
I mean, imagine like the
guy.
level of invasion you feel knowing that person just interacted with you and your daughters for months.
Exactly. It all works so well, even though you, in the back of your head, you definitely know, when she's on the phone with him, when he's on the way to the airport, you're like, okay, well, she's been reached.
Bro should have gotten on the fucking plane.
Just simply don't go back.
What are you doing?
Just leave that.
Well, get on the plane.
It's just like Heat. Just get away. But no, you got to do that one last.
And that's why Charlene is a real one, and Charlene keeping our boy Val out of prison, and that's why we'll
Lee. What are you pointing at here?
Heat too with that.
Walmart is actually pretty common.
What is
stealing?
Living at Walmart?
Oh, living.
Homeless people living in Walmart.
Well, this guy's not homeless. He is a prison escapee.
Yeah, he's hiding.
Yeah. And I did actually, whenever I said outside of the bike racks the other day, and I was like, oh, there's a guy there. I did hear a rustling behind there. So maybe it was just a guy that was like 3 feet away from me.
Why don't you join in? Because the next movie is one that you're very passionate about. Why don't
Let me-
you do a celebrity shot?
Let me give you one last thing about Roofman. Like I said, I think in my ideal world, it's a little bit more serious of a movie. I think I enjoy Channing Tatum. I like seeing him getting to act. You know, obviously that just doesn't happen a lot for actors that got stuck with his, beautiful face and body. So, good for him. It just feels a little bit. It doesn't feel like this guy would be this silly. And in real life, obviously he wasn't. And like I said,
the movie would be so morbid.
Well, that's
if
the
you didn't
thing.
have
Yeah.
those
Like
scenes.
he has to be like, that's like part of that is it's a script decision.
You need
But
to let Channing cook.
it's just, part of like what Channing has sort of figured out as an actor as of recent is a very like improvisational delivery where it's like, he speaks in like sentence fragments that are not in the script. He speaks in a very, very like, expository way. Like he's not delivering exactly what's written there. In a couple times in this movie, his delivery or like, he'll just like let loose like a word or a phrase that people were not saying in the early 2000s. Like it feels a little too modern.
Facts.
It felt a little too modern for me.
No, I get that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and it just like it was like, oh, this is like the way you talked in like 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there was a couple times where I was kind of like, I wish you would dial it back just a little and have a little more sincerity in your eyes instead of like through what you're saying being so disarming.
Yeah.
That would be the one way I think to elevate that performance, because like I said, I loved him the whole time, but then whenever he gets one-on-one with Kirsten, it's like, oh yeah, okay. There are tears.
There's levels.
There's
There's
tears.
levels to it.
And you can't fault anyone for not being able to compete with Kirsten because she's like crazy.
She's incredible.
She's stupid good.
Yeah. I do think that like I'm very interested to see this movie is going to Paramount Plus, so it might die there, but like I do think this is a movie that actually could play really well at home, and I could see having a thing like
I watched it at home. It was great.
yeah. Well, I could see it just being a thing that's going to have legs and like people really kind of pick it up at home, just casually put it on. It starts to kind of grow. Kind of like The Nice Guys, how The Nice Guys had a whole like revitalization a few years later because it's not like a perfect movie, but it's just like a movie that's just like, yeah, it's just like a really good, fun movie. You can just watch like your partner on a date night at home.
So this movie is what you would call a certified Reddit classic.
Yeah.
It is going to get brought up on Reddit once a month.
Lay underrated gem.
Exactly. Yeah. It is the new. Yeah, The Nice Guys is a great example of that. Moon.
Yes.
Huge example of that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just like, do you guys know about this? And like everyone else on Reddit already knows about it. It's going to be one of those. And it's still a good movie, even though,
My last thing is it's so weird to me that Derek Cianfrance came out with just like guns blazing with Blue Valentine and Place Beyond the Pines, and we don't talk about The Light Between Oceans because that's a movie that does not exist. But otherwise, like hasn't made a movie in a decade and is like, I'm gonna make Roofman. That's gonna be my big comeback. And it's like, why?
Because he needed to get something made.
Well, I mean, I just hope that we don't have to wait another decade to get another movie from this guy because he's obviously incredibly talented.
That's Roofman. And now we have a special celebrity shot guest here to talk about Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
I was voluntold to be here.
Well, you brought us champagne.
No.
And then you were giving sideline commentary.
Lee,
We gotta get you a mic.
thank you for being here because I need someone on my team here because I really liked it.
I liked it too.
You didn't. You were a fucking hater on the last episode of the podcast. I really liked Frankenstein.
I'm sure the listeners are going to enjoy that little yelling that we did just then.
This is the new Guillermo del Toro movie. It's out on Netflix.
Hey, no
It
one place that I'd like to live is in Victor von Frankenstein's house.
Yeah, talk about a guy running for his life. Am I
I'd
right?
rather live in a Walmart.
Did you see the set design? I don't know. It seems pretty nice.
My real captor's not Toys R Us. It's life. It's eternity.
Oh, that guy. I don't like Channing
It's
Tatum,
existence.
so I didn't know where he lived. He was in a Toys R Us?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Like you don't like him like as a guy. You're just like against everything.
Ever
he
since
stands
I
for.
saw him in This Is the End, where he was a
Like the S&M
BDSM
That made you
sex
dislike
slave,
him?
I was like,
Come on now.
And
See,
now-
that
and it was like post Magic Mike, I'm pretty sure. So it was like, He was just using his body to make money.
Could he have played the creature? He would have been
This
a good
creature for Frankenstein?
Channing, yeah.
No, he's a one note kind of like 21 Jump Street. Like he's just that character permanently.
So Frankenstein,
GDT, Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz, Netflix.
you say you liked it, but the way you talked about it on the last episode, it didn't sound like
I
it.
wanted to love it.
Mhm.
I wanted to be like blown away.
Well,
by
then
it.
maybe I have you to thank, honestly, because I went into this knowing your opinion and I was absolutely delighted watching it. I had a great time. I think you're focusing too hard on some visual hiccups that are absolutely
This
there.
movie looks like an episode of Wednesday.
It doesn't look great.
It looks bad.
I'm
I think
in
it looks
love-
actively bad. That's something that Gaia said, but the whole time while we were watching, we were like, why does it look like this? Why does it look like this?
It looks like Netflix.
Realized it looks like Netflix.
It looks like Netflix. It has the digital touch.
I am honestly in love with Guillermo del Toro.
Mhm.
And in my head, that's like the man that I will marry. And so you need to become.
I think he's available.
I feel like you are
I love my monsters.
You're
Well,
gonna evolve into Guillermo.
Yeah,
del
Ernest,
Toro.
if your dad is any indicator, you're gonna look
You're gonna
just
look like
him.
yeah. You just need to like lose a couple inches in height,
Mhm.
and yeah.
Girls
Can I-
want that.
Can
I'll
I
just
be
say-
the version of him in Death Stranding?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Good.
The thing is that I go into every movie expecting to hate it. That's how I enter
How do you
movies.
live your life that way?
I'm a bitter, angry
She doesn't have a movie podcast.
person because
She doesn't have to like.
it's so the film industry at large is so consumeristic that I feel like they try to cut corners in order to make as much profit on each movie. So usually the visual effects are always terrible. Like we just came off last night of watching RRR, and I'm like, why doesn't every movie fucking look like
Let's go.
this?
Yeah.
Like it's offensive to me, being that we are the richest country in the world and we're supposed to have this amazing Hollywood cinema, like, you know, legacy. And yet a lot of our films look like sloppy, messy, blurry content. But I went into this movie expecting that. And as a wife to a cinephile, you have to get points for, you know, being present because you ask a lot of favors of your husband. And so you have to give favors in return. And so this was my movie favor of the month. And so when I went, I was like, you know, this is going to be ass. And I was,
thought it was going to be ass?
yeah.
Maybe
I mean,
maybe
with
that's how
your-
you guys should have gone
Even
into
with
it.
your husband Guillermo del Toro making it.
That's
You expect nothing from TV.
reason. That's the only reason why I didn't bitch the whole
Well, you
way
didn't.
there.
You never
'Cause
saw Nightmare
usually,
Alley.
Like he has to pull my leg to usually get to a place.
Also, I would imagine you don't hate Oscar Isaac either. Huh?
I mean,
Nice on the.
I watched a small interview with Oscar Isaac, and he was talking about the intensity of it, and that there was a little bit of like a Spanish like influence to it.
Telenovela.
And I was like, okay, that's really cool. But what was the shorts that Guillermo del Toro did?
The Cabinet of Curiosities.
The Cabinet of Curiosities.
The one with
That's
Eric.
what made me fall in love with
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, the one with the guy from Walking Dead.
Oh,
That one was so sad.
like, oh my God. So ever since then, I've been a big fan. Anyway, I walk into this expecting it to be ass and to be blurry because I like to watch trailers. Many of you who are watching this probably are anti-trailer. You guys are like deep into Reddit. So you,
Calling our fans
Don't-
incels right now?
I mean, no offense or anything, but like the niche on niche on niche of the cinema. Most people don't go to movies to experience that. They go to movies to just have brain turn off time. And I don't go to movies unless I absolutely want to be enthralled in that film or if I owe a favor to my husband. So in this particular case, I went in expecting it to be kind of bad, but I was going to smile and lie and say that I liked it. I actually genuinely really appreciated the pacing.
Let's go.
It wasn't like, let's try to shove the whole storyline in your face in a time. And I read the book and I loved the book. And it was very complimentary to the book. And it was not trying to overdo it with the CGI, which is my number one biggest pet peeve. I am a practical effects girly. I love
The Fly.
The Thing. I love The Fly. I love The Substance. I want to see flesh tear. Actually, now I'm going to say Evil Dead is in my top 5. now.
Both.
So if that's the case, I want to see something real. I want to feel something, and I want to feel like you didn't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, this film did that for me.
I think it's a interesting like dichotomy CGI wise, because I think what you guys bumped up against, which I also saw.
Hey, you don't know. I have not given my thoughts on this movie at all.
Hunter-
You don't know what my
Hunter
thoughts are.
hasn't even
Put your
given
sass
this
back in the bag.
Okay, Hunter gave this a watched, no like.
Wow.
That means he doesn't even know if it's 3.5 stars. Like dead serious. So
I hate the way
pipe
that
down.
you see into my fucking soul right now by my whole.
It's just it's a really big dichotomy, because the times that visually this movie gets tricky is when it's giving you big scale, when it's showing you a giant background. The background looked fake to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of CG there, but gore looks real. When shit is getting torn apart, when
they're
bodies are
touching
getting
things.
mangled,
when you're seeing
that-
like muscles.
When
getting
that guy
moved.
slams his face on the ground,
Mhm.
I saw brains spill out.
and that is more important to me, I guess, when
Sure.
watching it, because I agree that
That's more important than whenever a tower burns down and it looks like an Evanescence music video.
they're absolutely. I
And
agree.
you like Evanescence, and you better fucking
Exactly.
Actually, no. Specifically, it kind of looks like the Creed Higher music video is what it looks like as the creature is.
No, so I
sliding
agree.
out of
When
it.
we're zoomed out, there are points where the movie didn't look good, but when the important stuff was happening and we were actually keyed into something happening, it looked great.
There were elements that really shocked me, because I really didn't expect like Mia Goth's character, for example, to come in. I was really disappointed when she first shows up on screen, because I was like, oh no, she's going to be some like fair, like, she's just going to be there to be like the vagina in the movie.
Yeah, but no, she's like a weird freak.
She's like not only a weird freak, but she's like very intelligent, and she's very like human and animal rights, like vocal, and she's cunning, and she's probably more intelligent than every other person in the film.
Oh yeah.
And that shocked me. That threw me for a loop.
And pessimistic.
Yeah, they're exactly. I think there's detail painted in areas you just wouldn't expect. And so like generally, I think a lot of the criticism I've seen is getting hung up on like the way it looks. And I understand that, especially because it's on Netflix. It's really easy to pick on the exteriors looking like a Netflix show. The tone, and I should have expected this from Guillermo. This is what he's good at. To have like whimsy and heart, and also like brutal gore and like grotesqueness. No one's doing that, man.
Right.
We have to appreciate this as a very unique product that is taking what is essentially at this point like almost a fair use fairy tale. It's a very old story, and giving it a honorable modern adaptation that captures such like a wide range of tones. Like, it almost made me like Nosferatu less. Because Nosferatu,
That's a critical hit.
Nosferatu looks better in every single respect. Nosferatu has no fucking soul, and I didn't feel anything at all.
I agree.
Where's the soul? There's no soul.
I could not agree.
I
What-
agree, because
What are you
like,
crying watching Nosferatu?
You sit
No.
through and you watch it, and you're just like, I don't really know why I should feel bad for this person.
It's just like a movie. I mean, it's great, but it is the main point of Nosferatu is aesthetic.
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
I will preface this by saying I think Frankenstein's fine. I think it's fine.
He hasn't even rated it.
I think it's fine. I think it's even like
Do a
it's
rewatch.
solid. I think it's solid. My hangups on this movie are not with the look of it. I have a lot of issues with the writing around this movie. I love Oscar Isaac. I think that he is horribly miscast in this role. I do not think that he kind of gets what the character is,
Wasn't
and
he
I think
supposed
it's
to be the
because,
monster?
well, down to the point where they say, "You're the monster, Victor Frankenstein."
It was you.
I think that like this is a movie that I think that it is almost too sympathetic to the point that like it needs to be more horrific. It needs to feel like there are monsters within all of us, and I feel like this is putting aside a lot of what I feel like is the first half of this movie I find extremely fucking boring, to be honest. Like,
I mean, it
think
definitely
it's
gets better.
deeply uninteresting. I think when Jacob Elordi comes in, Jacob Elordi is right now my favorite supporting actor of the year.
Let's go.
So I will say, I'm saying this, that I think that the movie hits a absolute high whenever we get the sequence of him and the old man, because
He's
that's
cool, man.
whenever you see the empathy and the things that are coming through. Because I think, frankly, Guillermo del Toro is more interested in the monster than he is in Victor von
Well,
Frankenstein.
I think
The problem with that is-
should I call Mary Shelley and tell her that you're bitching out her writing? Right
No, I'm not. No, but I'm saying I think Mary Shelley actually is writing more of a deep and complex character
I
than
don't
Victor
know. I
Frankenstein.
think you're
than-
right. I'm pretty sure in the original book, Victor Frankenstein is like a kind of a shitty guy.
Well,
He's
okay,
bad.
then here's
It's like
the thing.
the original
Here's
tech
the
bro.
problem.
like
with
he's a
that
scumbag.
Is that okay? Then sure. Then fine. Mary Shelley, get with the fucking times.
She was a teenager.
Yeah.
She invented the times.
No, I
This
think that's-
this was one of the original like sci-fi stories.
I know. And look, I'm not trying to come down too hard on this movie because I do not hate this. I've seen some people that are absolutely scathing this movie. I do not hate this movie. I think there's a lot to like it, especially whenever it comes to production design, when it comes to Jacob Elordi's character. But I just think that Guillermo, I know that this was his passion project to make this,
Yeah.
but I just don't think that he was connected enough to the Victor Frankenstein character for us to spend an hour and 15 minutes with that character that, like, I don't fucking like this guy. I'm not really interested in this guy and what he's doing. And outside of what you're showing me, even some of the more grand ideas of like what it is to be human, what it means to kind of get beyond, break through the trauma and the mold of those who made us, whether that's our parents, whether that's our creators, whatever it might be, whether that's God. You don't get that until like an hour and a half into the movie. And so I just think that that's just so much dead space in this movie. And whenever it sings, it absolutely sings. But I just think that there's a lot of dead time in there.
But the thing is that, and I think this is actually a disservice to the original writing from years and years and years of the Frankenstein trope being used in cinema. The original book is supposed to be the rise and fall of a human who thinks he's a god.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a parallel between like these AI tech bros that today think that they are
Zuckerberg,
above
Musk.
everyone else. Like that's the story.
Absolutely.
But we've always seen
modern Prometheus.
Frankenstein, and we've always thought of this scary monster who's supposed to have this lore of just being abnormal and being like, you know, genteel, but also like a monster. The story's not like, actually, when you read the book, you don't get to the monster forever.
Yeah.
And I think, at least when I walk into the movie thinking it's going to be bad, I think they're going to do that. I think they're going to go straight to the monster and they're going to suck on the lore of like wanting to be in that part of the story. What drew me to it the most is like, we're watching someone rise in their craft and then let it get the best of them and then fall in their craft. Where I think there's flaws is that the tempo of when he turns on his product, when he turns on his monster, is too quick.
It's like a switch.
We don't feel that time. I wish that they took the small scenes where they show
where
him
he's like,
training
God,
him.
you're so stupid.
I wish that was like one scene. I wish they drew that out because
Yeah.
he's like,
I agree.
because the scene where they're creating the monster, where they're taking all the body pieces and they're showing you the scientific, that was like
Awesome.
the best part of the
absolutely awesome. I agree.
So
like,
I
they
think
should have kept that going.
No, I agree. I think, and I agree with both of you. I think because I do think that the back half of the movie is better than the front half. But what's keeping me going through the front half of the movie, is that, like you said, Victor is like the lesser known piece of Frankenstein in terms of like covered story of like what we know. So it's fun to like learn about him. And because it's a GDT thing, I have faith that like this is a pretty faithful adaptation of the book, even though I haven't read it. B, Oscar Isaac is being so fucking hammy. And I quickly decided to enjoy that, I guess.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a choice you have to make because he's going big.
Yeah.
He's
playing to the back of the room.
and one, he's being funny.
Theatrical.
You know, he's being like funny and almost like silly in a way you wouldn't expect because this is a very dramatic feeling movie. But once you figure out that he's just like, he's going hammy, like for the sake of it, I think it lets you enjoy it a lot more.
I get what you're saying. I think that it's more so that I just didn't ever like, I didn't like Victor Frankenstein from the first time that I ever saw him. Like he's not
He
ever
sucks.
painted
I mean,
in
he's
a way.
a guy who sucks.
You're supposed to not like him.
I get that, but I just I didn't find him interesting. I didn't find him as an interesting written character. I love watching characters that you are like, not necessarily like an anti-hero, but somebody who is like a bad guy who you are following. You're like forced.
Yeah,
to
where
spend
you're
time
like,
with.
oh, there's a kernel of good.
Not even the kernel of good, but like there's something that is like interesting and compelling about his character. What's compelling about him is his gift that he has. And so to your point, Lee, about like whenever they are actually making the monster, all of that stuff is incredible. That stuff is so cool. It's so well done.
Yeah, assembling the creature.
Just didn't really find, and maybe this is a me thing because there have been so many iterations on the Frankenstein character, but
Poor
this
Things
kind of made
we
me
just
think,
saw.
that's what I was about to say. Is this movie made me think a lot about Poor Things, and it made me like gain even more appreciation for that movie, a movie that I do
It
love
switches
already,
it up.
because that movie knows, hey, you know what's the most interesting thing about the story is the monster. We're going to actually watch that character and watch them grow and learn what it is to be human from the very beginning.
So
I do think that there is a way that you could write this that is just from the perspective of Victor von Frankenstein. I think that you could do like multiple ways. You could even do the satiristic route of something like Young Frankenstein. That's like kind
Well,
of
I
like
hated
Frankenstein.
Poor Things.
Oh,
Why'd you
hate it?
Because I
Whoa.
thought it was like a satirical version of Frankenstein. And
I mean, it
thought-
kind of is.
And it doesn't take its
It's-
time to help you feel the feelings. It just kind of shows you a lot of sex and a lot of it doesn't. It was definitely written by a man.
I got fucking horny and I loved it.
Instant 5
people
stars.
who get horny
Wait,
while
so
watching
listen,
Poor Things?
Poor Things is a good lens to watching because I love Poor Things, but one of the ways that I sort of got in the groove of this movie is I started processing Oscar Isaac as almost like Mark Ruffalo in that movie.
Yeah.
Like he's just going fucking big, and we get to enjoy just watching a modern actor be as big and like almost silly as he can.
Just crank it out.
Even
yeah.
in a role that's supposed to be dramatic. Like he's going so all out. And so I actually think he was well cast because I don't see a lot of actors doing that.
I left feeling like the film was shot as if it was on a stage.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other visual effects helped elevate it, but the acting and the performances were supposed to be like on a stage with very little supporting resources to help them. They were just like giving, and I appreciated that so much because for me, it was like, damn, they didn't need to go this hard on this story that everybody knows, that has been written about and told. And the fact that Guillermo, if this is his passion project, he wanted to take the elements of what you could do on a stage with no props and put it with, I thought, some of the better versions of practical effects.
The ship, they built that
ship
whole thing.
When the very opening scene, when you walk up to the ship, I was like, oh shit, I'm going to like this.
Yeah.
Like I was resisting liking it.
No, me too.
And then I'm like, oh,
I
this
didn't
is so
wanna.
good.
And it did take a minute, but
But then you go back to young Victor and it's like,
yeah,
all right.
well, so another another key piece of it, I think, is that we always talk about, I mean, you've read Frankenstein, so maybe honestly you're too qualified to be on this podcast and you should back off. But there she goes. There are so many retellings of Frankenstein, recontextualizations.
Right.
Yep.
We do not have an essential modern telling of Frankenstein.
Right.
We don't.
Well, Kenneth Branagh tried to do one with De Niro and
Yeah.
it didn't take.
Yeah, who loves that?
we-
movie?
because
saw the trailer. It
People
looks cool.
want to. The disservice that I think to the original story is that people want to make it all about the monster. And then frankly, it's
exactly.
all about the fall of the creator.
Yeah, I think the problem with, at least, and I'm sorry, I may cut you off. The problem is that I have with the writing of this movie is that we don't get enough of a rise to see a fall.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is my fundamental
fair.
problem with the writing of
It might just
Yeah.
with
it might
the pacing,
Because it's-
because I do think that
The book starts with him running to a ship and be like, literally,
Yeah,
it's if he had the full exploratory ability to just do whatever the fuck, he probably would have done the arc that like we most commonly want of like watching this creator become this prestige scientist that is rejected by the scientific community. It could have taken its time there.
Right.
But instead they start, which I thought is like so creative in the book, is with the horror of the monster and the fear that's encompassing the monster. You start with like empathizing the creator, who you learn through the storytelling is actually the fucking monster.
I love the arc of like the ship captain, like the Viking guy, like you slowly realize he's like a fucking weirdo who's super into this story.
Yeah.
He's like, yo,
He's the one
Let my
writing.
guy cook.
let this freak in here.
He's the
Let's-
one writing the letters in the book. The book is in what's called an epistolary.
Oh, really?
Where it's like it's all letters. And
Well,
it's
so-
the ship
Right.
captain.
So that's what carried me through times where I thought maybe it was things were like progressing a little more slowly. So I was like, oh, like because we're in GDT's hands, I am for the first time like actually understanding what the initial story of Frankenstein
Like,
is.
I-
source.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
hated the
all
book.
the retelling.
I hated the book till the
Oh.
end because it's written in that way that it's so fucking confusing. And it's like, why isn't it written in the same, like first person, or, you know, it's like written in this way where you're having to piece together clues the whole
No, that's
time.
fair. And then I mean, and this happens in movies a lot where it's like so many movies have this exact device of like we keep cutting back to the story being told
framing
by
device,
someone in
yeah.
the future.
Right.
And there's with each of those movies, you can ask the question, would it be better if it wasn't like that? And I don't know the answer.
Did you guys think it was kind of weird when the creature finally comes in and he's like,
I have a story to tell.
Are we telling stories?
let me tell mine. So
I like it because when you're watching it, you're like, well, that's fucking stupid. This is a monster. But then once he starts telling his story, you're like, oh, he's gotten smart.
It's all about stories.
You're like,
he's
oh,
been ingesting
no, exactly.
stories.
You're like, he's become intelligent, so now
Yeah.
he just wants to come in and chat.
Before
even
he kills
after
you.
even
Yeah.
after like just blowing dudes' brains out in the snow. But so if folks didn't listen to the other episode where I talked about this, I was kind of like middle on the movie, but really wanting to give myself over to it. I really want to watch it again. I was hoping to have watched it a second time before recording, but I didn't get a chance. I think that the second viewing is going to help this movie a lot because I feel myself being drawn to it more, especially talking about it more, even if I kind of bumped against a good bit of it on the first watch. I will say, like, you know, to your point about like all the different versions we've gotten of this story, the monster is such like an icon of popular culture and cinema.
Well, and
it's a very, the way that the monster has been rendered is just like this dumb creature.
Yeah.
and even just visually, you know, it's always
the
been
green block head.
exactly. It's always been sort of a fun fact
Minecraft
of like,
character.
oh, you know, like he's, you know, in the book they don't say he's green and he doesn't have fucking plugs in his head or whatever.
And so here comes GDT with the help of this amazing performance by Jacob Elordi to give us something that, I mean, maybe you could have, some folks might say that Robert De Niro did, but I mean, no one's ever talking about that.
I will never watch Robert De Niro being
I
Frankenstein.
will say I have heard that movie, like that the script for it is fucking incredible, and Kenneth Branagh fucked it hard.
I believe that, but Robert De Niro.
But here
Hey,
comes
Bobby.
Frankenstein 2025. And I think if you're going to take anything away from this movie, it's Jacob Elordi. Like,
Yeah,
whatever complaints I have about this movie, and I think on second viewing, hopefully, like a lot of them won't stick. The Jacob Elordi performance holds together as this fresh, brand new, and hopefully eternal interpretation of this eternal story. Like, this is a story that has been with us for 100+ years, and hopefully this rendering of the creature, of the monster, will become like one of the defining aspects of like every iteration of this character. Because here is a guy who is making a choice, obviously with the help of GDT, but making this choice of doing kind of the poor things thing of you start illiterate, you start baby, and you end up big brain. You end up fully capable,
being more human than the humans.
He also
by learning about humanity.
I think he does an amazing job. A a lot of the way his look is established is great. None of those guys that they got from the gallows were hot, so I'm kind of wondering
The
where
bodies.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Where did the hotness come
Well,
from?
that's where the craftsmanship,
Plastic
A
surgeon.
nose from this guy.
He
some
actually
cheekbones
got
over
his
here.
degree in plastic surgery in the book.
if you think about it, this movie is a little bit of a creature. This movie is a bit of a piecing together of different
it's
body
sort of like
parts.
a feature film about creatures.
Right.
Okay.
So Frankenstein, the monster and the doctor are kind of one and the same.
So he's great. Elordi's amazing. A lot of, I wish that if he is getting an award, I wish that like he had to accept it with the sound designer that did his vocal chain, because when he's narrating, he sounds so good. Like the way they made his voice deep and gravelly in a way that his voice does not sound at all. Really well done.
So something you guys, I don't know if you guys caught this. Please tell me if you did. But like Mia Goth's character is supposed to be the conflict between nature and nurture.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's this scientist who's absolutely like embellishing his craft to the point where
Drawn
he's
to the
like
creature.
borderline thinking in his mentality that he's a god and focusing on that rather than focusing on the natural process of learning, right? Like if you're going to teach a child, you're going to be tender, you're going to nurture. And instead he thinks of it more robotic of like, I'm going to force intelligence on this creature. And here comes Mia Goth's character who her lead up of understanding who she is, she's reading books about insects.
She's
and
dressed like a bug.
like she's very intrigued by the little details in nature that we all look past. And then so like the scene where she meets the creature for the first time really creeped me out because it's so slow. And I'm like, is he gonna beat her face in? Like
No,
the
she's
fear.
Horned up
Like-
from like day one. She's just like, oh hey.
But
This
like
beautiful.
like I thought that
creation.
too. Like it's uncomfortable because I'm like, wait, is he gonna like hurt her? Is she like horny for him? Like I'm so confused. But it's really the fact that she's so appreciative of life and of creation and of those details that she's like captured by it. And the fact that it's being chained and controlled in this unnatural way without being able to like flourish and be educated and be nurtured just makes her completely disgusted by this experiment. And like it's this constant fight that we feel here as just existing of like, we live in a capitalistic society. Should we embrace just consumerism blindly without understanding the processes that go into even like, watching Survivor this week? They had to kill a chicken and everybody was freaking out. I'm like, you eat chicken every day. You don't know what the fuck goes into like killing a chicken. You
She's
should
cooking.
respect
Yeah.
the process of killing that chicken and honor that life that you took. But we've been so separated from that process that we can go to Chick-fil-A and eat chicken all day long, but we don't value the life that was put into that product.
Yeah.
She almost appreciates what Oscar Isaac did more than he does.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He creates a creature and immediately is like, oh wait, I didn't think what would happen once it came to life.
He's like,
though.
shit, now I gotta be like your dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Fuck,
burn you
I'm
alive.
like, I had
Fuck.
Charles Dance raise me. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing
Like
here,
the
man.
the chaining of the creature is so interesting because like immediately he's like, man, I didn't think this far through this
But
whole thing.
you walked out when I said this. Like my biggest pet peeve is just that scene where he's trying to educate the creature and it doesn't go well. It like he gets too frustrated too quick.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
like
wish
instantly.
he's like mad right away. Like look, like
Well,
say this word.
because he was so fixated on like the scientific process of like creating the creature.
Yeah.
Which is like one of the best parts of the movie.
But the fact that he's willing to burn his like entire career because he just is too dumb to think maybe I'll get you a blanket and actually a warm bed and maybe you'll actually be in a space where you'll feel comfortable enough to learn. Like that's very
by the way,
typical.
Guillermo has said in interviews that they built like a miniature and actually blew it up. That's not in the movie.
You definitely don't see that. That's all CGI nonsense, what you see in the movie. Lee, I do want to say, because I do think that like that was very beautifully articulated what you were saying about like what works about this story. what you're talking about is like subtext, and I wish that there was more subtext in this movie. I think that is one of the biggest problems I had in this is like there is no subtext. The text is just right there, down to literally the point where they say, "You are the monster, Victor." Like, I think that was the thing that was really frustrating for me, where it's just like, all of these different iterations that we see of Frankenstein, like we know a lot of the general themes, but you can twist those themes and make the subtext varied slightly, whether it is a story that is about nature, whether it's a story about humanity, whatever it might be. But I just found this iteration to be very reductive.
They should have slowed it down.
And just like...
that would have been a 4-hour movie, but if they slowed it down,
or maybe
could have gotten there.
Maybe just skip him as like a baby.
Yeah. Listen, as much as we love to see Charles Dance play Victor's
Frankenstein.
I love Charles. Which, by the way, this is the second time in a movie he has played Victor Frankenstein's dad.
Because
typecasting.
You know, you never in the book, you never get in the movies the parts where he's studying the families in the village.
Yeah.
So like you never get that in the Frankenstein trope.
Okay.
Until now.
And that should be something that I think maybe could have been expedited a little bit shorter, because the whole wolf thing, like I think it was to show you that if you just take the time and be patient, you can nurture that learning. But instead it turned into like a whole other subplot of like,
well, the wolves are to show that like nature will be violent.
Well, I think that what you're saying, Hunter, from everything that I've read, these are the problems that people have with the book. Is that Mary Shelley was like 18 or whatever when she wrote it, and a lot of just like the themes she's trying to state are just stated. And also, for everything that Guillermo is incredible at, he does that in his movies too. So that is, I almost was sort of expecting that to be built in, is that it's just going to be sort of stated things that usually you sort of figure out when you're watching something.
I just think, well, even in, because I think that Pinocchio, putting that to the side, because Pinocchio is a little bit more, does have some kind of messages about like, this is a story about fascism, but like, whether it's Nightmare Alley or Shape of Water or Crimson Peak, like those are movies that they do kind of state their themes by the third act, but they aren't preaching them to you throughout the entire runtime. It's more of like okay. Like it's kind of something like that. And I think another piece is that like just maybe another problem that I have with Frankenstein is because I've seen every Guillermo movie that he's kind of done Frankenstein many times over again, like that we kind of keep getting Frankenstein,
for sure.
And now we're just like literally getting Frankenstein again. So it feels like
he's been wanting to
you're
do
just
it.
playing the...
No, you're right. But also, if you go back, like I watched Pan's Labyrinth again like a couple months ago, and it's
perfect movie.
It's still a masterpiece, but it also is like really just laying it out there what it's trying to say. It's not super subtextual, and that's fine sometimes. I think the way that I interpreted this movie is like it's easy to sort of tarnish the way you think about it if you think of it as a Netflix movie. But it's like, oh, what if there was like a big, broad audience Disney adaptation of Frankenstein, but also it was this nasty,
A little fucked up.
Yeah. That's why I appreciated it, because it feels like it's broad and meant for everyone, but it's way more fucked up than that version would be.
Can we get into the visual effects? Because it sounds like I haven't been deep in the chats where people are criticizing it.
It's just a lot of the backgrounds.
I'm just gonna say this, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm not a cinephile, but like, are we gonna get more movies like this? I feel like they're cutting corners in every major film. A film like at this level, where there's this much hype, which I do not think should have just been a Netflix film. I think everyone should have seen this on a big screen. I'm so grateful that I did.
That I did not see it on a big screen.
Like, damn, like I don't think that it does it justice. But like, whatever the problems are with the CGI, in my head, I'm like, I haven't seen sets built like this for real
in props.
A long time. Probably Nosferatu was like such a big deal that they built those towns. But then we've been watching older movies, and like that was commonplace.
Yeah.
So my problem with the movie is beyond the CGI, because I do think there's bad CGI. I hate the way that this movie looks. I think that the color grading, and this is a Netflix thing specifically, is that I really hate the color palette of this movie. Everything is really blue. Everything is super washed out, but not in a stylistic choice way. And everything, probably because of this being shot digitally and being filmed for going onto a platform, everything looks very flat. There's even in these sets that look grand, and part of this is just the experience of watching it at home.
Right.
Everything feels flat. It feels not lived in.
And
it feels fake.
That's crazy because when I was in person, like at the theater, I was like, fuck, how did they shoot this boat scene?
Well, they built that boat.
Where they literally moved the boat. Like, I was impressed. I was like I almost kind of lost my breath a little bit, which for me, I'm looking for reasons to talk shit. Like, I come to a movie to hate it.
You're a certified hater.
I'm a certified hater.
Yeah.
And I was like when he makes the deal with the businessman to build this awesome lab.
Christoph Waltz, shout out. I loved him in this movie.
I'll talk about him in a second.
I thought it was great.
I thought the lab, I'm like, did they fucking build this?
Yeah.
There's no way
Most
they
of it.
built this.
Some of it is.
And then
not
if you go
built,
and you
but-
watch interviews, there's some scenes where like things exploded and there was steam that came and like things like actually broke, and they used the original parts of that in the film because they wanted to keep that genuine fear. Like,
spark.
I guess there's a part where Oscar Isaac literally is like, ah, because there's like a thing that blows in the set and that's not supposed to do that. And it like casted some fear. That kind of stuff to me is like cinema gold. And I don't know how much longer we're going to have that with AI. I feel like they're going to eliminate the realistic versions and just make it either a blurry mess or so good with CGI that it's going to, eliminate so many jobs, and we're just going to be fooled, and we're just going to replace like the human aspect of that.
I would push back against that because I do think that while I think that AI probably could, sorry, Drew, I think that AI probably could make Monster the Ed Gein story. I know your favorite show of the year, so I don't want to besmirch that.
The AI would make something that makes way more sense.
Yeah.
So you're wrong.
I think that AI could make slop. I think that in general, humans crave things that are real, things that are tangible, things that are authentic and feel genuine
and imperfect.
And I think that
Like
in
the
that
creature.
way, I think that the top tier, I think that art at the highest level will always shine through.
Well,
maybe that's me being an optimist, but I do think that like there's always going to be a place, and I don't know, I might look like an ass in like 5 years whenever this podcast is just only regurgitating AI versions of ourselves talking. But like, I do think that humans fundamentally crave seeing art that is a reflection of themselves and that feels true to them and that feels like something that only could be crafted by hand by another human. So I think that we will always get.
But will the AI advance to the point where we can't tell?
Yeah, I mean it will. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm hoping for is it'll lead to less use of CG, because right now good AI looks like bad CG. We're going to reach a point very soon where good AI looks like good CG.
Bring back
it's
matte
much
paintings.
cheaper.
But
Much cheaper.
like there are real human souls that make that, and
I know.
and they take their time, and that time should be valued. Like when I go and my ticket is being processed, like in my head, I think I'm paying for those souls. I'm paying for that life, that because we know people who work in that space, and like
The Spider-Verse
don't-
like overworked.
they don't sleep.
Yeah, I do think, I mean, yes, like what AI is doing, and the term AI is such an umbrella that is kind of encapsulating everything. I think that a lot of stuff that ILM has been doing, the stuff that was being done on the first Avatar movies, James Cameron has even said himself, like this could be classified as AI because it's just like it's using
machine learning.
It's machine learning, and it's using
algorithms.
It is using like inferring different. Jesus Christ, Drew! It is like hour 3 of potting. It's gonna happen.
It's a wine o'clock in my.
still
neighborhood.
It's
but
fine.
I think it's one of those things where it's like, what are we defining as AI? Like, is AI just going to be helping, like, an artist creates a map of what they want and then want something to look like, and then AI is filling in the pixels in between?
It's just
that
a
works
mix.
because you still have the human. There's still going to be.
I mean,
a
of
human
course,
at the end of the day
it's
that's
really
involved.
the CG industry. Is what's going to be fucked fastest.
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
the thing is, that's never been my favorite part of any movie. The thing that's going to be sad is like animated movies, because those have so much soul to them because they're entirely animated. But a movie like this that uses, where like the director Guillermo is a little bit too in love with his vision, and he's like, we can make that happen with CG, and he's not always right. Sometimes you just be better off reducing your scope and using real shit. And because I'm hoping that because of the stigma of using AI, there's going to be less use of CG as well, because what people are going to want is something that looks
Tangible.
realer. Yeah. Because that is when this movie bothered me, is when I was looking at a background that was just not real. And I was like, come on, Guillermo, I know you
Especially
like real
because
shit.
they have real sets, it then makes it so much more
Yeah.
annoying when they're on an obviously like a soundstage. It's like, what
It's
the fuck are we
jarring.
doing right now?
It's
I will
like-
say the plot, the story is it's what it's about. Like the journey that Frankenstein is embarking, creating this creature, is the same journey that somebody like Sam Altman is taking, creating something like ChatGPT. Like
regardless of the cost.
it is
though.
this.
That's
this
the problem.
Yeah, he's not thinking about what's going to happen after.
move fast and break things, like Silicon Valley type shit. And I think that when you look at the Christoph Waltz character, like that is someone who is like, just upload me, just plug me into the fucking
Yeah, he's like, fuck
matrix. I don't want to think about it. I want to be eternal. I don't want to be a sick, rotting
I should
flesh.
tell you guys, I have signed over our rights to just be enveloped by AI, so we don't have to do these in-person pods anymore.
I think it's a fascinating sort of
You guys would definitely all look like 10 times hotter.
Yeah,
It'll just take
I'd
your
look like
face
Jacob
and it'll
Elordi.
just like, yeah.
I would love to look like Jacob Elordi as the creature.
I would
Honestly,
be Beyonce.
That's a fucking
I would be
upgrade.
Beyonce overnight.
it's a fascinating reflection on the current moment, and I think that it only gives more life to this story.
That's cool. So Christoph Waltz, really quick. He's playing sort of the benefactor. He's playing the investor in Victor Frankenstein's idea here. I was, for a lot of his performance, I was like, he's not really compelling me the way he usually does.
Oh yeah, he hasn't gotten
Well-
to his level.
Well, here's the thing. He hasn't in a few movies. The last few movies I've seen have been like this. And especially because in this movie, he is, he's playing a guy that, even though he's old in the movie, he is like, he's not supposed to be playing like a dying old man. In real life, Christoph Waltz is just old. That's fucking why.
Yeah.
We met him when he was like 50.
In Inglorious,
He was born 56.
No,
Like,
something I
he's-
noticed with Inglorious
70.
Bastards is, not another movie I don't love, but I'm a Tarantino girly, but the editing of his character, it's very simplistic, and you get just small little touches of his character, and it encapsulates this like artist that, even though you don't see him on screen for very long periods of time, you just get very small glimpses of his dialogue, and you're like, oh my God, this person is so fucking talented. I think there's something missing here. I don't know if it's the dialogue. I don't know if it's they give him kind of like a very watered down kind of like he's kind of like a con artist a little bit, but they don't really I don't think
he's a
they
war
let-
profiteer. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's where he's getting his money.
Yeah, he's like trying to create a bioweapon.
I honestly,
We brushed past a true hater Lee over here by just like skipping over the best Tarantino's masterpiece in Inglourious Bastards as a
You're wearing a
hater,
Kill
but
Bill shirt and you're saying Inglorious Bastards is
yeah,
his best.
yeah.
Are you ready
Inglourious
for-
Bastards is his
We're
Death
going to
Proof
the
is
whole
his
bloody
best.
affair,
whole
right?
bloody
But-
affair. It's right there on the back.
I genuinely, I think I'm right though. I think that he's just old, and sometimes actors when they get old lose a little bit of the control of their facial muscles or whatever the fuck it is. Where like it's like, oh yeah, no, he's just kind of past his prime, and that's
Did
okay.
you like him in this?
No, I mean, I didn't think he was incredible. No,
I didn't really think he was. So I was.
That's what
like,
I'm saying.
after
Is I
watching
think
this-
he's just an old
You've read
guy.
the book because I have not Googled this to actually know.
This is not a character in the book.
It's not a
No,
character.
I
in the
don't
book.
This is a
think so. This is
GDT
Why?
creation.
Why did they invent this character?
I think they needed, because like the book is long, and I think they needed to get from he's a crazy genius that's rejected by the scientific community to he's given the resources to create this monster.
Mhm.
And there's a lot in between there that we can't expound upon because
Yeah.
everybody's horny for the monster.
Well,
they just want to get to the monster,
no.
you know, and
Hey,
people are getting impatient
I'm
because they
horny
want to
for
get
the
to the
monster.
monster. And it's like, but we have to understand that there are other elements that have enabled this crazy genius to get to this point. And then I think the death of this investor helps show you how
That
far
fall is
gone
crazy.
he's been. He's this crazy genius. The story is like Frankenstein in all of our minds has been programmed to be the monster. The monster is the creator. For some reason, we've all been taught that Frankenstein is the monster.
They are both the monster.
But the monster is just called the monster in the book,
The creature.
the creature. The Frankenstein is the scientist who goes off the fucking deep end because he gets a superiority complex with his genius and becomes an isolationist and harms everyone in his path, even the people he loves, because he becomes so insane with his craft. And I think that's a story that is parallel to almost every single part of why life sucks today, because we have too many people in power who are geniuses who are enthralled in their craft, and they're not thinking about the human or the natural component of why we exist and why we're supposed to go slow and like coexist with each other.
Well, I think that GDT is trying to create some separation here between the creator and the benefactor, right? Very clearly, very obviously. Like there's so much of like the filmmaker experience here of the artist is not the financier. And I think that he's putting a lot of himself into the story and trying to put some space in between that. And also the idea of this Frankenstein scientist being a mad scientist, right? And not having the full resources at his disposal to make this thing happen. He's just fucking crazy. He has to look elsewhere for the money. To zero in on more so on him being just this crazy person.
Unfortunately, this character is being used as a conduit to get to a point in the story to expedite, to get us there.
Right. All right. Well, we have to move on to Begonia.
We need to wrap. This is
Okay.
like-
Oh, you want to just wrap? You don't want to do Begonia?
Let's just say Begonia. We've already done like an hour and a half just on this, right?
All right.
It's
No
almost
Begonia.
11 o'clock.
No Begonia.
Let's say Begonia. Very back
Begonia, very good movie. What did you like it?
I wouldn't say very good.
Oh,
Oh, God, the Yorgos fucking
we'll
fanboy
tease it
over
out.
here.
We'll
Wow.
tease it out.
God.
You guys love The Menu? You like that writer? He's not that good of a writer. That's all I'm
Damn.
gonna say.
God damn. Okay. Well, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Better. You like Frankenstein better than Begonia?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
That's actually that rocks. Actually, that's based.
That's based.
Frankenstein has heart.
Here's the thing. Are either of them good?
All right. Well,
They're both good. I don't think either of them are.
Midonia?
They're not incredible.
Frankenmid?
we went too long on Frankenstein. We'll have to say Begonia. We'll have to talk about Yorgos and Emma some other time. Until then, thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know your thoughts on Roofman and Frankenstein, the 2025 Guillermo del Toro version. Next week, it's what we've all been waiting for. It's Timmy time, baby.
It's time.
So stick around for that. Thank you all for listening. Check out WeBought.net, patreon.com/WeBought, $5 a month. Thank you, you beautiful donors. Thank you, Lee,
Thanks,
for
Lee.
celebrity
That
shotting.
was actually that was a great Frankenstein discussion. So thank you.
All right. Well, beyond that, it's the end of the year. We're wrapping things up. We are saving the Denzel series for 2026. So give us a little time to close out 2025, to do Listomania, and then we'll get to Denzel. We'll see you then. We love you. Woo! Bye-bye.
Bye.